I've got some inside information I need to warn you about before you buy the Nomatic Peter McKinnon backpack. I just had to warn everyone, but I felt the need to disguise my voice and hide my face, because it's just too embarrassing. I mean, come on, Peter, Nomatic, I'm disappointed. The bag is okay. You must have spent years designing this thing, and in all that time, all that work, all that collaboration and planning, I can't believe you did this. You forgot one of the most important features for the everyday person. And I gotta tell people, I've gotta warn them. And you know what? I can't hide anymore. I can't. And I can't believe that you forgot this one thing.
A place to put your sunglasses. Really?
Amateurs.
All right, so that little intro was fun. And in all seriousness, actually, I am serious about there not being a specific spot to put your sunglasses in this bag, at least not for me. And I don't find that the little outer pocket here is a great place because they're just gonna get crushed, in my opinion. A lot of the other Nomatic backpacks have a specific spot, usually, on the inside lip of one of these outer pockets, where you could just put a little sunglasses case, but this one doesn't, and it's one of the little things, but I just found that it was funny, and I thought I'd do an intro describing how there's not a specific spot for sunglasses. It's a bit disappointing because you then have to make organizational choices and compromises, and I don't want to make compromises. I want a spot for everything, but you can't always get what you want. At least that's what Mick Jagger said. But I did get a lot when I bought the Nomatic Peter McKinnon backpack. I wanted to talk about my use of the backpack, how I like it, what I don't like about it, and how I've been using it since I got it, which has been over a year now. And just to preface this video, this is not sponsored, nobody sent me the backpack. I bought it with my own money back in June of 2020 and have been using it as my daily carry backpack ever since. Yes, daily carry. It's really one of the best backpacks I've owned, and I've owned a decent amount of backpacks. And it's definitely the biggest backpack I've owned as well, but I'm just that kind of person that likes to carry what I need in one bag. And for over a year, this backpack has been doing that for me. And even with the global pandemic of 2020 and 2021, I've actually been going to and from work a lot because my full-time job is in audiovisual production, and with the entire world moving to virtual events a lot over the past year, that means that I was very luckily busy during the past year and a half doing pre-production, filming, and production of live virtual events. Some of them in the studio at my office, and some of them at clients' offices and various other places. And this bag has been with me the whole time. And even though it's not perfect, it's been a really great bag for me, especially because I carry a camera around with me almost all the time, basically everywhere. And this is really the first bag that I bought that had a specific spot and was kind of designed for camera equipment, but I also use it for all of my daily carry items. So if you're not familiar, this is of course the Nomatic Peter McKinnon edition backpack. If you're into camera gear and all that other stuff, you've probably come across Peter McKinnon's videos. I know I did. This is the first version of the backpack, the full-size pack. It's not the newer, smaller daily carry version. This is the full-size original one. And I had been looking at Nomatic backpacks online before I got this one and before this one even came out. I really liked the look of Nomatic bags overall and what seemed to be very thought-out, organizational, and sleek design, but I just never had bought one before. And since I started getting into professional mirrorless cameras and gear the past few years, I wanted a backpack that was made to hold a camera or cameras. And researching my new cameras online and watching a lot of YouTube videos, I of course came across Peter McKinnon's YouTube channel, and eventually then Nomatic released the Peter McKinnon backpack. And I saw it and thought it was pretty cool and pretty expensive, but I bit the bullet anyway and bought the backpack, and here we are. So let's talk about what I like about this bag. Number one, it's big. I actually like the fact that it's a bigger bag and I can carry what I need and usually don't have to compromise. Yes, it gets heavy with a lot of stuff in it, but honestly, when I've got it on, it feels and rides a lot better on my back than a lot of my other backpacks I've tried and I've owned over the years. And with the included waist belt, which I don't have on, having that waist belt does relieve some weight on the shoulders. And I actually think that the shoulder straps on this bag are actually some of the most padded that I've had on any bag that I've owned in the past few years. Number 2, it's fairly water resistant with the tarpaulin material. No complaints there. I was actually worried about the tarpaulin material, that it wouldn't stand up to abuse, but so far, even setting this thing down on dirty concrete, dirty roads, and a lot of other rough surfaces, it's held up very nicely. Number 3, it has, as you may know, a very large laptop slot in the back. I used to keep my 15-inch MacBook Pro in here with no problems, and it obviously fits my new 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro just fine. Number 4, it's a fairly sturdy design. It doesn't crumple like my previous backpacks. Before I got this backpack, I used tactical style backpacks like this 511 Rush 24 backpack, or this Tactics, not sure which one, but it's a big backpack. And even though these backpacks have kind of a rigid plate in the back, usually they just kind of sag because it's just this Cordura material. There's no structure to the bag itself, and so it tends to just start to get weighted down, and all the material just kind of crushes. So that's what I used to use, and what I like about this one is the bag itself has got the structure. If you take everything out of the bag is still the shape of the bag, and it's always going to hold that shape. And there seems to be some sort of either heavy plastic plate or, I don't know, maybe aluminum, but it feels like heavy duty plastic between the laptop slot and the interior of the bag, so it helps protect your laptop from what's in there. And for me, that kind of also gives the bag a little bit more of a rigid frame, so when you've got it on your back, it doesn't sag, it just sits there nicely and helps support everything. I like how each side of the bag fully flips out all the way. Got this side and this side. These things clamshell out all the way when you lay it flat. That's great because it means you can get to your stuff when you need, and you don't have to go reaching and digging down at the bottom of the bag and can't see your stuff. And I like the fact that the main compartment is, or at least was before I arranged it, is just a big empty space that you can customize almost any way you want it. It wasn't laid out like Nomatic or Peter thought you should lay it out. It comes with dividers. It's just this big gaping cavern where you can put and organize things where you need them to go. And I like the fact that the interior of the bag, the entire interior, the bottom and the sides are soft Velcro, so you can attach the other side, the rigid side of Velcro, anywhere inside the bag, to the bottom, to the sides, which means you can put your own customized accessories in there. I've made a few. I have a little pen holder that I made right there out of Velcro and some elastic. I've also made some elastic holders. You can see them there, that hold extra things in the bag. So having that soft Velcro everywhere has been a great help. But overall, I like the fact that this backpack is kind of a fixed exterior design and a fixed size. That was one of my problems with all of my tactical backpacks, is it had all this awesome MOLLE on the outside where you can attach extra things, but the problem is I kept attaching extra things and the bag just got bigger. This is one of the first bags that I got where it's got a few attachment points where you can attach a tripod, but it's really just this kind of more sleek and aerodynamic design, and it kind of keeps the bag a specific size, and I've really tried to stick to just using it as is. And that's really helped on a couple of trips I've taken, and when I'm just putting the bag in and out of my car or picking it up off the ground, it doesn't catch on a lot of things because I don't have as many options to attach stuff on the outside, and I'm just fine with that. I really like the fact that it gave you this expansion compartment, and I actually have it expanded most of the time, and I'll tell you why in just a sec, and what I keep and put in there. Other stuff I like, well, I don't think anybody's gonna complain that you have a quick access camera slot right here where you can get your camera. I'm actually using both my cameras, that one obviously, and my other camera's up there, so I don't have a camera in here at the moment, but you know, nice quick access. You don't have to always lay the bag down, open it up just to get your camera. It's got a really nice thick top handle. It's got handles on the sides. It's got a handle on the bottom. It has handles everywhere, and that's great because I'm always reaching down, picking this thing up with one hand, and then throwing it on my back. So the handle for me on the top has been really great. All right, things I don't like about this bag. Originally, I did not like the color of the interior. I mean, brown? Really? I just thought brown was a bit of a strange choice, but hey, I didn't design the bag. I've come to really enjoy the brown. It is a decent color offset, so you aren't always having to have a flashlight because it's light enough that you can see what you're getting in and out of the bag. It's just an interesting choice. Brown. Number 2, it falls over. It kind of leans forward a lot, and most of the time it's going to fall over. The only way I've found to make it stand up like this is to always have the extension compartment extended. And I have to keep something down in the bottom of that extension compartment to make the bottom flatter and take up some of the frontal force that this bag's wanting to put. And so having this extension compartment extended and having something down there is one of the only things that I can find that keeps this bag upright when you set it down. So that's a bit of a bummer. I usually just keep my first aid kit down the bottom, and if I take it out, it just falls over. So again, bit of a bummer. And if we were to close the extension compartment, and then there's nothing in there, the extension compartment's going to close there, you know, it's leaning forward quite a lot, and there it goes. And I don't get this about companies. I mean, you can even see that the bottom of this bag, if you were to have it vertical like this, the bottom is still kind of angled up. And I just don't understand why companies can't make the bottom completely flat. Give the bottom some structure so that when you set it down, it doesn't fall over. It's going. I can see it. I'll wait. So that's a big bummer for me that I have to keep this extension compartment extended, keep something large in the bottom to keep the bag from falling over. It's just not great when you walk into work or to a client's site for whatever it is you're doing, put your bag down and immediately have it fall over. It just looks unprofessional. So again, my solution is to keep something in the bottom. Again, my first aid kit, that's a laser measure. Those 2 items usually live in the bottom and keep the bag upright. Maybe a kickstand, just a little kickstand right there. And I said this and joked about it at the beginning, but I would have loved to see a spot that's specifically designed for your sunglasses or a sunglasses case. Again, some of the other Nomatic bags, kind of here on the inside of the flap, like maybe on the side here, they've got a little slot for sunglasses. That would have been great, be able to take your sunglasses and slide them in. Yes, you can use one of these, but I have other uses for these that I really need other things to go there, and it would be kind of a waste for me to put sunglasses there, and you know, they're still gonna kind of get crushed. And yes, you can put them in a hard case, but I'll show you where I keep mine in a minute. For now, that goes there. Because if you put them in the outside pocket there, and the bag falls over, like I've shown that it does, glasses are gonna get crushed and squished and possibly broken. Another thing I don't like, although I said I do like it, is the fact that it's big. This again is one of the biggest packs that I've owned. And yes, I like the fact that I can put in it what I need in it and take one bag with me. The downside is that I can put everything in it and take what I need with me, which just can obviously make it heavy depending on what you choose to put in it. That's a personal problem. I haven't found it to be overall too heavy. I've traveled a little bit with it. I've taken it as my daily carry, again, like I said, every day of the week to and from where I work and to and from the house to the car, from the car to my office, to client sites, and walking several blocks with it. And because it is actually more of a structural bag and it rides very well on my back, even though it's heavy, I think it carries its weight better than any of my previous bags. So yes, it's big. Yes, it gets heavy if you load it down. Not really a con. It's just that's how gravity works when you put a lot of stuff in it, especially cameras and lenses and all the stuff that goes along with that. So Not really a con. I still would prefer the larger size because it means I don't have to carry multiple bags. One other thing it's not my favorite, is that I would prefer that these two interior pockets be smaller, just because if you put small items in them, they're gonna fall down on the bottom. So I just don't have a need for large items on a daily basis. Works a little better if you're traveling and if you're going to put clothing in here, but for daily carry, everything just sinks down on the bottom. I would have preferred to see maybe 3 smaller pockets, but I'm nitpicking at this point. Oh, and the 4 smaller mesh pockets here are great. And one of the things I really was concerned about before I bought this bag is the fact that they're elastic mesh. And eventually elastic is just going to wear out. It's stretchy, it's nice that you can fit things in there and the pocket can stretch, but elastic is going to lose its elasticity over time, and I am a bit worried about that, the pockets getting stretched out and not being able to keep in there what you need in there. But again, a minor concern. The cost. Yeah, this is definitely the most expensive backpack that I've ever bought, and I thought it was a bit overpriced when it came out, but I honestly thought it looked like it had all the features that I needed, so I bought it, and so far I have not regretted my purchase. And again, one of the main reasons I purchased it is because it is specifically designed for camera equipment, and so far it's been a pretty great bag. Lastly, I don't like to lay my backpack down every time I want to get into it. And since the bag is mostly designed to lay flat and open up either side, it just makes it a bit more difficult for some daily access. But I wanted to make it work, and since I had figured out a way to make it stand up by keeping this expansion portion expanded and having something in the bottom, that's great, but I also wanted to be able to get into it from the top of the bag. Hang on, it's wanting to fall down. Put my own kickstand in there. And since this bag didn't come with anything on the interior to keep your items from falling out of their slots, that means that every time you open it up, stuff could fall out. And I don't blame the design of a bag like this. That's just gravity. Things fall out. And so I had to come up with a way to keep them from falling out, which I think I've done quite nicely. So with these little elastic straps that I made, I can put these straps anywhere I want, and things don't just fall out when it's upright like this. And I can reach in and get what I need to out of the bag. By the way, that's where I keep my sunglasses. I've got a little sunglasses case, those in there, and I have to keep those right there. And I can actually get to that without unzipping the entire bag. So the way I've made this work with not always wanting to lay it down is if you just unzip it enough, then you can still get into the top of the bag. You can get into the slot here. You can kind of get into some of the zipper pockets on the inside there. And this is how I kind of get my sunglasses in and out, so I don't have to always unzip the bag all the way. I can just unzip the top a little bit, reach in, grab my sunglasses, put that back in there, and I've made it kind of a pseudo top loader for a few things that I keep in the top of the bag. So I've traveled with this backpack a couple of times, once on a 1.5 week long trip halfway across the United States, and nobody gave me any flack about it. They didn't say it was overly large. It did fit in the overhead compartment, even with the expansion slot expanded the whole time. I was able to put some clothing in the front and change out some of these items that I have on the inside, but overall, traveling wise, I found it to be a really great bag, despite the fact that I packed a lot of stuff in it and it was heavy, but I used the waist strap on that trip going in and out of the airports, and it held up very well. So I think this video is getting a bit long. I wanted to show you how I packed this out, but I think I'm going to save that video for another day. Overall, the Nomatic Peter McKinnon backpack for me, again, has been my daily carry backpack for over a year now. I have not gone back to any other bags. I've made the things work about it that I don't like, but it's been a very great bag for me. It's got the nice top handle. I can grab it and go. I can get my camera out quickly. It holds my laptop, it holds my iPad, it holds my camera and 3 lenses and an Atomos Shinobi monitor and batteries and all the stuff I really need and want to carry around for my camera needs, as well as things like, lots of little organizational pouches for computer dongles and USB drives and computer chargers and handy wipes and toolkits and hard drives. You can put a tripod on the outside if you need to. It obviously slides onto a rolling bag with this extra little slot here on the back. That's great. I like the flip out water bottle holder or tripod holder. I keep my water bottle there almost all the time, and I just like the fact that when it's not in use, it rides flush. I like the fact that it has some extra attachment points. You could move these straps, which I've done occasionally, or put some extra things. Like I carry an extra little carabiner on the outside, just so if I need to use that for something, it's always there. It doesn't really have a great place for pens and Sharpies. You saw the little custom Velcro elastic holder that I made to put pens in the main compartment. But, you know, that would have been nice to have some pen compartments, because you just end up putting Sharpies down the bottom and you got to dig for them. And that's just not something I like to do. I like spots for everything. So some sort of, you know, pen slots. Maybe right here, maybe a business card holder over to the side, maybe some pen slots where you can just put things like Sharpies, like maybe right there. Yes, you can do that, but then they still fall down in the bottom of that pocket. So some pen slots would be great. I do really like all of the pockets on the inside. You know, they're not my first choice of sizes and placement necessarily, but I use all of them, and I have a specific thing that I put in all of them, and I can carry what I need to. The bag, as you can see on the bottom, is held up really well. This obviously is sitting on any surface I put it on, mostly concrete floor at work. It's held up really well. It hasn't actually gotten that scratched up in over a year. It really feels like a bag that I'll have for a while. So that's it. What I like, what I don't like about it, how it's been working for me, but I have no plans to look for any other backpacks in the near future. This one's been serving me very, very well, and stay tuned. Hopefully look for my other video on exactly what I keep in here and how I have it organized, and we'll see you there. Later.